10minutefacts.com presents 10 minutes of fascinating facts about the Eiffel Tower. This tower was never supposed to exist, and even after it was built, the plan was simple. After 20 years, it was supposed to be dismantled. Many Parisians hated it. Some called it a monster. Others claimed it would destroy the skyline of the most beautiful city in the world. And yet today, it has become one of the most recognizable symbols on the entire planet. But the true story of the Eiffel Tower is far stranger than most people realize. It's a story that includes a con artist who tried to sell the tower as scrap metal, a tailor who jumped from it wearing a homemade parachute, a gigantic advertisement made of 250,000 light bulbs, visible from dozens of miles away, and the surprising reason why Adolf Hitler never went to the top. Here are some fascinating facts about a tower everyone knows, but whose real story very few people truly understand. An idea that was meant to disappear. The year is 1889. Paris is preparing for the World's Fair, organized to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. The city needs a symbol of progress, something the world has never seen before. Two engineers from Gustave Eiffel's company draw a sketch of a massive metal structure rising above the city like a modern cathedral. At first, the project seems too bold, but Eiffel recognizes its potential. He buys the rights to the design and gives it its final form. Interestingly, from the very beginning, the plan assumed the tower would stand for only 20 years. After that, it was supposed to disappear from the Paris skyline. The scandal that surrounded its construction. For many Parisians, the tower was shocking. More than 300 artists and intellectuals signed a protest, claiming that the structure would ruin the city's skyline. It was called a factory chimney, a metal skeleton, and even a monster. One of the critics was the writer Guy de Maupassant. Legend says he regularly ate lunch in the restaurant inside the tower because it was the only place in Paris where he didn't have to see it. A construction ahead of its time. Building the tower took just over 2 years. More than 18,000 pieces were assembled by about 300 workers high above the ground, like a gigantic puzzle connected with millions of rivets. But the most surprising thing was something else. Safety. At a time when construction accidents were extremely common, Eiffel introduced guardrails, safety nets, and movable platforms. The result? Officially, only one fatal accident during the entire construction of the tower. A structure that moves. The Eiffel Tower is not completely rigid. When strong winds blow, it can gently sway. And during the summer, when the metal expands, the tower can actually grow taller by several inches. It's almost like a steel organism reacting to the weather. The apartment at the top. At the top of the tower, Gustave Eiffel created a small private apartment. For years, it remained almost inaccessible to the public. It wasn't luxurious, but it had everything necessary: wooden furniture, a piano, and even a small laboratory. Eiffel invited selected guests there, held scientific discussions, and observed Paris from a height most people could only dream of. The view was breathtaking. Today, a reconstruction of that apartment is one of the most intriguing attractions in the tower. It reminds visitors that its creator did not see it only as an engineering project, but as the work of his life. As mentioned earlier, this was also where he welcomed remarkable guests. One of them was Thomas Edison, who presented him with a phonograph. The tower that was saved by radio. As the end of the 20-year permit approached, the city seriously considered demolishing the tower. Then a new argument appeared: radio communication. The height of the tower turned out to be perfect for installing antennas. During World War I, those antennas helped intercept enemy messages. The tower became strategically important, and because of that, it survived. The advertisement that lit up Paris. In 1925, something happened that seems almost unimaginable today. André Citroën, the owner of the automotive giant, decided to turn the tower into the largest advertisement in the world. About 250,000 light bulbs were installed on the structure. At night, they created the gigantic word Citroën. The letters stretched vertically across nearly the entire height of the tower, and their glow could be seen from dozens of miles away. Pilots reportedly used it as a navigation landmark. The advertisement remained for several years and became a symbol of a modern era when marketing began expanding into the skylines of cities. The scam of the century. That same year, a story unfolded that sounds like a movie plot. A con artist named Victor Lustig pretended to be a government official. He invited several scrap metal dealers to a secret meeting. There, he claimed the government planned to dismantle the Eiffel Tower and sell the metal. One businessman paid a huge bribe, believing he had secured the deal of a lifetime. By the time he discovered the truth, it was already too late. Lustig had disappeared with the money. And most unbelievably, he managed to repeat the scam one more time. The jump that shocked the world. In 1912, a tailor named Franz Reichelt believed he had invented a parachute coat. To prove it worked, he climbed the tower and jumped from the first level. The experiment ended in tragedy, but the footage of the event became one of the earliest viral videos in history. The Tower, during war, the legend of Hitler. When Germany occupied Paris in 1940, one of the first things the French did was cut the elevator cables leading to the top of the tower. It was a simple symbolic gesture. If the occupiers wanted to reach the summit, they would have to climb the stairs. When Adolf Hitler visited Paris, he stopped at the base of the tower and took photographs there. But he never went to the top. And that is when a famous phrase was born: Hitler conquered Paris, but he did not conquer the Eiffel Tower. The sentence became a symbol of quiet resistance and the belief that even during occupation, something remained undefeated. The Tower as the World Stage, 1999. On the night of December 31st, 1999, as the world entered January 1st, 2000, the Eiffel Tower turned into a gigantic stage of light. Laser shows and fireworks were watched by millions of people around the world. It symbolized the celebration of entering the year 2000, even though technically the new millennium began 1 year later. Lesser-known facts. At the beginning of the 20th century, a printing press operated inside the tower, publishing a newspaper for visitors. In the 1920s and 1930s, television experiments were conducted there, helping develop broadcasting technology in France. During heat waves, the metal heats up so much that temperatures at the top of the tower can be noticeably higher than at the base. The tower is not painted a single color. Near the base, it is darker, and near the top, it becomes lighter, so that it appears visually balanced from every perspective. Every 7 years, about 60 tons of paint are used to repaint the tower and protect it from corrosion. Although it was originally designed as a demonstration of technology, over time it became one of the most romantic places on Earth. Marriage proposals from people around the world happen there every single day. Its silhouette has appeared in hundreds of films and has become the visual symbol of Paris. Few people know that the Eiffel Tower once functioned as a giant sundial. At the beginning of the 20th century, a huge hour scale was installed on one side of the tower, and the shadow cast by the structure indicated the time on the square below. The idea was meant to show that the tower could be not only a symbol, but also a practical tool. Although the solution did not remain permanently, it shows how its creators experimented with the tower's possibilities and treated it like a laboratory of modernity. When it was completed in 1889, the tower stood about 300 meters tall. Today, it measures around 330 meters, not because it was rebuilt, but because additional broadcasting antennas were added over the years. Each antenna symbolized a new era of communication, from telegraph to radio to television and modern broadcasting. In a way, the tower literally grew with technology. Why the Eiffel Tower survived. The Eiffel Tower is more than a steel structure. It is a symbol of technological courage, but also proof that even the most controversial idea can eventually become a beloved icon. The tower was meant to be temporary. It was supposed to disappear after 2 decades. Today, it is one of the most recognizable places on Earth. It is a story about how the future sometimes begins with an idea that once seemed completely crazy. If you want to discover more stories about places, people, and events that changed the world, stay with us for the next episodes. We would really appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment telling us who or what you would like to hear about next. For more fascinating facts, visit our website, 10minutefacts.com. Thank you for spending this time with us. See you next time.